There are two common types of bottom bracket on modern bikes. One is the press fit and the other one is the threaded, which is exactly what we've got on this bike here. And in this video, we're going to show you how to remove and then replace a threaded bottom bracket. The only thing that you need for this job is a tool which correctly fits onto the bottom bracket cups, and also, if you want to do it properly, a torque wrench. But of course, you're also going to need the correct tools with which to remove the crankset in order to get to the bottom bracket in the first place. To remove our Shimano Ultegra cranks, we firstly needed to undo the two 5mm crank bolts, then remove the threaded end cap on the crankset using a Shimano tool. Finally, push the pin away from the locator hole. You can then pull the non-drive side crank away from the frame. Next, push the axle of the drive side through the bottom bracket. Then, coming around to the other side of the bike, remove the chain from the chainring, pull the crankset away from the frame. We've also got a more detailed video on removing cranks here. You'll now need the special bottom bracket tool that fits the outer circumference of the bearing cups. Place the tool on the cups, then hold it tight and straight to loosen the cups in the frame. Generally, you push clockwise on the right-hand side and anti-clockwise on the left. Many bottom brackets have directional arrows on them. You might need to push hard to get the cups moving initially. After that, they'll simply unscrew. Do the same on the other side, and once you've removed the bottom bracket, give the frame threads a quick clean out and then smear with light grease before refitting. Refitting is simply the reverse process. If there were any spaces behind the bottom bracket cups as you took it off, make sure you put them back in the same place before you put it back on. You can start threading and tightening the bottom bracket cups by hand, but then you'll need to use the special tool and the torque wrench. On our particular bottom bracket, they recommend a torque of 34 Newton meters. Once it's tightened, you're ready to put your crankset back on. Wrap the chain around the bottom bracket shell, then push the drive side axle through the bottom bracket. Push the non-drive side crank onto the axle, perpendicular to the drive side crank. Push the safety pin back into the locator hole. Put the threaded end cap in on the non-drive side crankset. Finally, tighten the two 5mm bolts up on the crank. In this instance, the recommended torque is 12 to 14 Newton meters.